Seeing no objection, SR 208 will be reported as amended. Thank you. All right, looking around to see who is here. Looks like our friend Huval is here. All right, Representative Huval, this is 229 members. 229. He's worked very hard to move this bill from the House over here. So let's see if we can give him our attention. I'm going to try to give you as much latitude on time, but may have to bump you along.
I understand, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much for having me. Members, I thank you for giving me an opportunity to bring this bill to you. This bill is actually to promote safe driving. That's what the main objective here. Distracted driving is to blame for over 50% of crashes in our state. This would give our law enforcement the ability to enforce distracted driving. The current laws that we have that ban texting does not really give them an opportunity to actually enforce safe driving. 19 states currently ban the use of handheld devices, and the statistics have shown that there is a 16% reduction in fatal accidents in these states.
Senator Barrow.
That was actually on the last bill, but since I have the mic, can you give us a list of the states that have actually banned it, where you've seen a decrease? This is something that I am very concerned about.
Senator Barrow, I do not have the states. All I know is that the most current or recent one would be Georgia, that passed theirs last year in 2018.
So does that exclude the wireless, or if you Bluetooth in with your vehicle, or is this just purely just handheld devices?
It's purely just handheld, Senator.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Before I call on Senator Carter, I'd ask Suzanne Salter to come forward. She filled out a green card wishing to speak in favor. We do have two other green cards, Jeff Albright and Kevin Cunningham. We know Jeff from the Independent Insurance Agents, and we know Mr. Cunningham from the APCIA. They said they're in favor, though they're respecting that we're under the gun to go quickly. Ms. Salter.
Yes, my name is Suzanne Salter, and my daughter was killed the day after Christmas a couple years ago. She was killed by a driver that could not put down her phone. Phone records show that she was on the phone for a length of time. She stated in the police report that she did not know she was even driving in the left lane. My daughter was at a stop to make a left turn. The police report also said that she didn't even realize what she hit. So her eyes were not on the road, and this was a straight road. There wasn't any curves. So there's no reason that she should not have seen her.
Yes, ma'am.
My daughter was a mother of 3 small children, and the baby doesn't even remember his mother. This has ripped apart our family. We've had an attempted suicide. We've had the 9-year-old daughter now beginning to have anxiety attacks, where we had to call 911, and an ambulance had to come to our house because she couldn't breathe. Then the grandson, he was 8 at the time, started slapping himself in the face. So we have had therapy for the children, but this was all so unnecessary. I don't call it an accident. I call it a total avoidable crash because of this negligence of this person not wanting to put down her phone. We don't have a loving mother, a part of society that she worked with kids with special needs. She worked she was sponsored at the Flag Corps at her school that she was on faculty with. I didn't realize how many lives she touched until her funeral. She also coached baseball. They were 8-year-old little boys. 2 of the little ball players actually came to her funeral. We had 2 children that were special needs that were in wheelchairs that their parents brought them. We had her flag girls. We had band members, and we also even had one that said that Nicole was the closest thing to a mother that he's had. And to know that this could have been avoided is something that I'm pleading with y'all to do something about.
Thank you, Ms. Salter. If y'all would give way, we have 3 that wish to speak against. We have Mary Sue Labrie against, not wishing to speak. Then we have Constance Zimmerman, Richard Brown, and Stacy Sandro. You come forward. I would ask that you not repeat what somebody else has said if you're coming forward. Stacy, Alessandro, Richard Brown, Constance Zimmerman. Are these people present? Also members, we have Bobby Breland and Lieutenant Robert Burns from the Louisiana State Police and the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission. I see copious notes there, and we're gonna have a 2-minute rule. If you go over 2, I'm gonna have to cut you off. I'm sorry. We got to be back on the floor. If you find yourself repetitious, I'll help you with that. Y'all can go in whatever. Do y'all have any organization amongst yourself? Okay. Introduce yourself, say who you are, and go.
My name is Richard Brown from Kenner. I'm here as an individual on behalf of myself, although I am president of a civic group in Kenner, Citizens for a Better Kenner. I have been studying this issue for about 10 years, ladies and gentlemen. The problem with distracted driving, with cell phones in particular, it's not the act of holding the phone. The distraction is caused by the mental distraction of the conversation. Every study shows that. There are about 36 studies. They all show the same thing. They also all show that in a review of those states that have enacted bans on handheld phones, there has not been a marked decrease in accidents. Now, I think maybe in Georgia, the last state that did it just this past year, they might have been a temporary drop. That does happen often with new legislation where there's publicity, where there are press releases, a lot of news about the fact that something's now illegal. But after a few months or a year, things return to normal. The long-term.
Okay, so your issue is might as well keep other passengers out of the car, or don't listen to the radio, don't listen to a book or something else. Focus on what you're doing. You got
sir.
One more?
The difference, though, is that when you're talking to a passenger, you're both watching the road. And when things are happening, there's going to be a natural pause in the conversation that doesn't happen when you're on a cell phone.
Okay.
But let me just read a little data to you, if I may, please.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. Thank you. Next.
Yes, my name is Constance Zimmerman. I live in Kenner, and I first would like to express my sympathy to the mother who lost her child in this accident. I have a 22-year-old cousin's son who was killed when a drunk driver ran a red light, and he passed away. It was very devastating for the entire family. But also in that case, there are already laws in place against drunk driving. My position on it is that we need to look at education. If we're seriously interested in safety, why do we not educate better about these issues? Why do we just keep making more laws and more laws and more laws, which erodes our freedom and upsets many people? So that's it.
Thank you,
if we're
Constance.
interested in safety, education.
Thank you. Stacy?
Stacy Alessandra, I too would like to express my sympathy to the mom that was up here. I am very sorry that happened to her daughter. But the distraction is not holding the cell phone any more than holding a cup of coffee or your sunglasses or a bottle of water. It is the conversation itself. Many times I've been on a hands-free device and I'm driving and I get from one point to another, and unfortunately this happens, you zone out. You don't even remember what happened. It's not because you're holding a phone in your hand, it's the conversation. The second point is that this is a moving violation. It's going to give police probable cause to pull anybody over just for holding a cell phone in their hand. No other reason. You can hold a cup of coffee in your hand, which is just as distracting or not. You're not going to get pulled over. But by holding a cell phone, anybody has any reason to pull you over. And the third thing is the practicality. I would challenge you that if you are going to pass this, I want you to think about what it's going to feel like even trying to do this for one day. Because if you pass this law, it applies to you, your spouses, your children. And think about the practicality of this. And it's not the phone, it is the conversation.
All right, thank you. So we've heard from the proponents and the opponents. We have Bobby Breland and Lieutenant Robert Burns present. We're supposed to be on the floor 4 minutes ago. We'll take the question. Senator Carter.
I guess I've got. I want to applaud you for bringing at least an attempt to solve what I think we all acknowledge as a problem. But respectfully, I'm not quite sure that this is the instrument. At some point, we're going to have to deal with this. You know, someone mentioned earlier that they saw someone the other day on a motorcycle texting. How horrific and how dangerous is that? The real issue, I think, is probably more with texting than there is with using a telephone, with talking on the telephone. We have laws on the books now that deals with texting, but it still hasn't seemed to curb the appetite of people who text while they drive. Very respectfully, I think this is something that we should probably work on in the interim and come up with a way that we can really address this in a holistic way. I don't know that this does that, and for that reason, Representative Huval, I will move, Mr. Chairman, to defer the bill.
All right. Senator Barrow, do you have comment you want to make before the deferral?
Actually, I was hoping that we could have heard from the department. This is something that I am extremely concerned about, and if they have data, but I know we have a short period of time, but I think it's real important that we hear that information. And I'm going to tell you, Representative Huval, I support this measure because I do believe that we have to do something a little bit more. We've been working on this a long time. And to me, we still have not yet come up with some good tools to really address it. And there are other states that have done it, and the numbers have gone down. And I don't think it's prohibiting people from being able to communicate with individuals that they need to talk to. So I would respectfully actually object to that.
All right. So we're in the middle of the vote, but I'm going to put a little teeny bit of commentary in here, and that we have 45-day sessions and 60-day sessions, and this is a fiscal 45-day session with a limited number of bills. I don't feel right about not being able to give a full-blown hearing on this, but that's where we are on this, and I don't have any other choice on it. I sympathize to what you say, Senator Barrow, but it's just a huge question, and nothing was ever more infuriating to me than the first time I heard somebody tell me, Senator Claytor, sometimes it takes several times to pass a good bill. So I get your frustration, and we all have the sympathy for the family. The motion is to defer. There's an objection by Senator Barrow. If you vote yes, your vote is to defer. Call the chairman first.
Chairman Claytor?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Hengens? No. Senator Barrow?
No.
No. Senator Carter?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Colon? No. Senator Mills? No. Senator White? No. You have 5 nays and 2 yeas.
All right. So the motion to defer has been defeated. Is there a different motion?
Move to report.
Okay, Senator Barrow moves to report the bill favorably. There are no amendments on it. There's an objection by Senator Carter. Call the vote.
Chairman Claytor?
No.
No. Senator Hengens? Yes. Senator Barrow?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Carter? No. Senator Colon? Yes. Senator Mills? Yes. Senator White? Yes. 5 yeas, 2 nays.
There you go, Representative Huval. Find yourself somebody to carry it on the floor. The board, the bill will be reported favorably. There was no amendment. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, members.
Good job. Don't get up, committee. I've gotten information that we have a motion and that we want to also take up at the end of this order. Is there a desire to go back in the order?
Yes. Let's see.
Senator Barrow.
What number? 229? Then we go back to House Bill 229
Okay.
and ask that
Reconsider the vote.
reconsider the vote. Yes.
All right. So on HB 229, the vote was 5-2, and then 2-5, and then 5-2. Senator Barrow was on the prevailing side both times. She's asked that we reconsider the vote. Is there any objection to reconsidering the vote? Seeing no objection to reconsidering the vote, we will reconsider the vote. Is there any motion or? All right, Senator Carter is moving to defer 229. Is there any objection to that? Seeing no objection, House Bill 229 will be deferred.